Hello again YouTube, Mad Dog here, welcome back to my channel. So on tonight's little video I'm going to be showing you guys and lasses around a couple of examples of kits. These are a couple of my kits obviously that I choose to carry for long and short term, and they are a bit of a boring subject really, but a necessary one in my opinion, and that is the Infield repair kit. Stay tuned. Okay, so what I've got going on here is, like I've said previously, a couple of examples of in the field repair kits. Now these, from the offset, I just want to make it clear that they're not maintenance kits as such. So there's no tools to maintain tools. These are just sort of kit repair, you know, get yourself out of a situation kits for your clothing, you know, your rucksack, your webbings, etc. So I'll start with this little one. This is an old one, I've had this many years now, and this is the old little Webtex military style. It's a small, light, you know, pocket sized kit, formerly known as the housewife's kit. But I'll just open it up and show you what I've got going on in here. So straight away, as you can see, it's very simple and very basic, and this for me would be a short-term carry, so you know, weekend to a week, nothing major, just for those just in case scenarios. So off the bat I've got a lighter that I do check periodically, and around that I've got some insulation tape and some, you know, some duct tape. I think that's actually Gorilla tape. A lighter is important to carry because you can melt a whole variety of different materials to make glues, fillers and binders, etc. So a form of heat is always a good thing to carry. I have a selection of needles, some of which are pre-threaded with some strong waxed cordage there. A small, I've got one of these small button lighters here, you know, one of these cheapo lighters. The reason I like these is obviously I'm a big advocate of the head torch, but failing that you can actually switch one of these bad boys on, put it in your mouth, and it still leaves you dexterity to go about your business. I do need to swap that out. As you can see, it's starting to die now, so it is always good to check your kits periodically. I've got several safety pins just for getting yourself out the car, you know, whether it be your pants or whatever, you need to just safety pin them together just to get you home. And then inside of the pouches I've got I believe that's number 16 bank line or some tarred cordage, something like that. I think there's about 25-30 feet if I remember rightly. Some super glue, a pair of scissors, a selection of buttons, more needles and thread going on down there, some nylon repair. It's like the outer of paracord. It's good filler material for, you know, for when it's melted basically. And then on the other side I have the thimble that came originally with this kit, and then various selection of cottons and strings and the same sort of thing. So like I say, this is just really for a short-term kit. It's very light, doesn't take much room or much effort to carry this, as you can see, and it fits in a cargo pocket quite nicely, or you know, the inside pocket of a jacket. Ideal for webbing, you know, on your chest kit in the good old days. It goes nicely in a webbing pouch. Anyway, so that's the lightweight kit. I know this is a boring subject, and you're probably all yawning and bored already, but in the next kit, which is obviously a lot more comprehensive, I'll show or give the idea of one or two different little tips and tricks which you may find useful as well. And also I want to show this one because for me this is the sort of kit you would chuck in your bug out vehicle, you know, your vehicle, whatever, or take with you to a long-term camp or at a base camp for an expedition or something of that nature, where your clothing, you know, is going to take a battering and you're going to need to be able to repair it effectively in the field. So stay tuned and I'll burst this bad boy open and show you what's in here. Alrighty, I've brought you in a little bit closer to have a look around this pouch kit. This is one that I've recently put together. As you can see, it is quite a fresh kit, but I've used similar kits before, and I do have other kits, not just these two, but I just thought I'd show you a couple of examples because of the difference in size, content and application, obviously for time spent in the field. So this kit, getting straight into it, on the front we have a little pouch here, and inside of which we have an old bicycle puncture repair kit. Push bicycle, motorcycle, you know, they're all good. And inside of there I've got a selection of spools with lightweight, light gauge sewing cotton on there, and these are actually held on this, which is a hot glue gun stick. I do have a couple of those in this kit because they are very useful in my opinion. So obviously you can heat them up with a lighter, a fire or whatever heat source you have, and they can also be melted with acetone or any of them sort of types of liquids to make quite an effective resinous glue. So obviously the push bike plastic, what do you call it, adhesive, you know, the weld, plastic rubber weld adhesive, useful stuff. And I've left the original repair patches in there because they're ideal for clothing repairs, tarp repairs, etc. There's a couple more needles in there, you can never have too many of those. So that's a basic I've just thrown them all over the floor. A basic sew kit and tarp or clothing repair kit, which is pretty much self-contained go-to little kit on it by itself. At the side here I've got a snap light which I've tied all up to hell around this this webbing. Just a basic glow-in-the-dark snap light, so that pre-tied off to a length of paracord, which obviously has multiple uses by itself, but obviously I can then snap this, tie it to a tree or whatever, wherever I am, and I've got a good glow of light around where I'm working and carrying out my repairs, which, you know, you can be at for quite a long while, especially if you're not very competent, not a seamstress like I'm not. So inside the actual kit itself, compartment number one at the back here, I have a selection of long plastic cable ties, zip ties, fantastic, universally sort of adaptable bits of kit, as we all know. You know, it's only the limitation of the imagination that governs the use of those brilliant bits of kit. I have quite a large tea light candle, a 12-hour candle, which comes out of the tinfoil cap readily, easily, so that I could use that to mix molten glues, etc. in, should I wish to. Now, the actual wax is also useful to rub down seams, zips, etc. to help waterproof them and to lubricate them in cold weather conditions, especially paraffin wax or beeswax, ideal. I have some material in the back here. I'll just empty all this out. So I've got a part used roll of insulation tape, again great for lashings and repairs, but I've gone for the earthen stripy tape purely because it's visible. You could use that as a blaze, you know, when you're on your travels, a blaze marker as well. So multiple uses. This sounds daft, but if you need it and you haven't got it, you'll be glad you carried it. And this is basically a plastic bag, black inner, white outer, which obviously you can use for multiple things, gathering water, tinder, etc. But it is made of a similar material to that of a tarpaulin, you know, the cheap plastic tarps. So you can actually cut pieces of this off and use it as patches, or you can melt the entire thing and use it as glue, mix it with wood ash, pine tar and horse hair or sheep hair, or, you know, taken out of shit, etc. You can make yourself a nice little, a good adhesive. So I carry a piece of material in there, parent material you might say, I also carry a small piece of clothing material. It's only 100% cotton, no explanation needed there, charred material, etc. But it's nice to actually have a piece of material if you want to, you know, go ahead and re-sew in an elbow that's worn through, etc. You've got something to use. So, small piece of clothing material, couple of boot laces. Why use paracord when you can use a ready-made boot lace? It's easier to thread, and you're preserving your resources in the field. More paracord. This is the cheaper paracord. Now the reason being I put this in this kit is because it melts nicely. So you've probably seen on one of my previous videos where I'm demonstrating repairing a tarpaulin by poking this through a burn hole, lighting it on top, putting it out with the edge of a blade, forming a watertight seal, cut it off underneath. You've made a little plug for your leak. So again, I know it's redundancy, but another lighter, more super glue. You know, that's pretty self-explanatory, and that's what I've got in the back compartment. So I'll clear the decks now and show you the next compartment. Long ass video, but I do feel that some of these things are worth considering if you're going to go out for any length of time in the field. So stay with me and we'll get through this. Alrighty, so the front pouch, front portion, which is probably the bit I would go to first, to be honest. Small torch, nothing worse than doing your tasks in the dark, absolutely necessary. A little plastic like clip hanger to go over a branch or a ridge line to hang your torch from, so you're not faffing with, you know, making prusik loops, etc. in the dark when you're already against it. So these, actually forgotten I'd actually put these in here, but these are a various size packet of zipper repairs. So what these are basically are the puller off a zip mechanism that you can actually open the zip puller up. They're like a crimp type thing, so they actually open up like so, and you put that over the zipper to replace a broken one, clip it down, and your zipper will work again. Basically I've got a few of those in various sizes, so they're worth having. Bit of a long shot, but you know, if you can afford to carry it and you've got the room, they weigh nothing, why not? Some thin gauge wire, great for twisting, repairs, as well as multiple use by its own nature, you know. A few feet of that. A selection of large buttons, you know, you can't have too many buttons. Some more spools of thread, and inside of this container, it's like an old tool container, machine tool container. In the centre I have some corrosion proof paper, and inside of that paper are some large sail needles, leather needles, canvas needles. Obviously I've put them in there to stop it going rusty. For more heavy duty work, or for repairing leather or boots, or you know, something a bit more like webbing, you know, you might sell the back of a Bergen or something along those lines. And here I've got some wax strong cordage which would be in use in conjunction with said needles. A couple more glue sticks in the centre of that, and yeah, up the back side of that I've got a small, you know, a small awl to poke holes through leather, and you can actually use this to drag through your actual thread itself. Useful bit of kit, the bradawl, you know, you can bore your holes. Multiple use item as well. The actual sleeve, obviously it's a piece of glue gun stick again that I've just drilled a hole out to form a protective cover, but I can use that as well. You could actually heat that up, you know. Anyways, that's that. more Gorilla Tape on, yet more glue sticks. I do like that stuff. Little sprung loaded cordage zippers, you know, for making like closed string bags. Good for closing down a loop of paracord or or bank line, that type of thing. A few of those, good for cinching down. A couple of nails, self-explanatory, multiple uses, not just for repair but for making rigs, for net making. You know, if you need to make something, you can use these, drive them in as a guider to wrap your cordage around, etc., tie your cordage off to. Another little kit here, again, yet more tape. Now this time, this tape is different. It is non-sticky initially, and it is self-amalgamating tape. Now this stuff is fantastic for boot repair, so this is a bit of a hack really that not many people will share with you. But if you've got a pair of boots that have broken around the sole where it meets the actual boot body, you can use this self-amalgamating tape and really stretch the hell out of it, go around the boot, leave it overnight, and come the morning you've got a watertight solid seal. The same can be said for, you know, water bottles, containers, anything that you need to repair that may have a leak. Lots and lots of uses for self-amalgamating tape. Great bit of kit. Highly recommend carrying some of that. And that again is in one of these little machinist tools type of container. Then going on, I've got some baking soda in a small capsule in there, which obviously in conjunction with super glue makes a real hard resinous filler material which you can actually drill and tap should you need to. So a bit of baking soda, which again, sorry for the redundancy, but is a multi-use item by itself. You can use it for first aid, cleaning your teeth, cleaning your cookware, multiple uses for baking soda. But mix that with a bit of super glue, fantastic resinous filler material. So as along in there I've got said super glue, safety pins. That's about all that's in there really. I'm just mindful of the length of this video for a basic kit. So in closing, don't forget the old tricks as well. Somebody's mentioned to me that I speak to about, don't forget the old toothbrush trick. So if you're cold and you're wearing mitts, you can put your toothbrush down onto a hard surface or your knee. You know, you can get your knee, your lap, lay your string across the said toothbrush with your pin or needle in your gloved hand, press the eyelet down over the cotton, and it threads the cotton through the eye of the needle using the bristles. So neat little trick. You do need a soft toothbrush for that, that's too hard to demonstrate, it's a firm one. Anyway, and then obviously the other trick with the needle, laying the string or the cotton across the palm of your hand, take your needle with the eye end and rub it up and down over that loose cotton, and the action will actually roll the threads through the needle as well. That's another little trick worth remembering. If you're trying to thread the eye of a needle in the dark, or you're cold, it's wet and it's miserable, another little trick worth practicing. So just bring up here a little ways, do excuse me. So wow, long ass video for a small short topic, or what should have been. But I hope I've shown you something a little different there, maybe, I don't know, or give you some food for thought. I do recommend a repair kit, even if it's just something as basic as the old Housewife's kit there, as it used to be known as back in the day when we used to practice field craft. I would definitely recommend a repair kit if you're going on an expedition, something a bit more heavy duty and long term. I would probably go as far as to say even add some leather into something like this. Brilliant to have a couple of leather patches to sew onto your knees, as daft as it sounds, on your trousers, your pants. So if you're doing a lot of constant kneeling, you know, it saves your knees. You know, I've got it on some of my trousers in the house where I've actually built that in anyway, because especially now I'm old, there's nothing worse than being on your knees for a long time. And in our craft, you are. And if you haven't got a kneel pad, like, you know, one of my comfort items is definitely a kneel pad, then having trousers with that, or the ability to do that, is important. Try and think outside the box when you're carrying a repair kit. It's not just needle and thread. You need to be as adaptable as you possibly can be with a small amount of kit as you can be. So anyway, hope you find some of this useful, you know, if not entertaining. A long ass boring subject to cover, but I hope you find it helpful. take care out there, whatever you're all doing, and I will see you all soon. Have a great weekend. Mad Dog signing off. Yeah.